Changed my life. I was in the trap OG, serving out white. Think about it day to day, day and night. Last night I had a drink, and it felt so right. In the trap was serving fiends. But work on triple B. Big 40 in my jeans.
Yes, sir. Yo. Hip Hop Beats Hoops.
Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Hoops. I am your host, Anthony Ighodaro. I got my co-host with me. Mr. Woods is in the building.
What up? Let's go.
Yo, today we got a very special guest, man.
Legendary.
Yes. Lee Anna.
OG, triple OG.
Coach Lee Anna Osei.
Let's go.
Let's go. Listen, man.
Welcome.
Thank you. You've always been a supporter of Hip Hop Hoops. We had you on season 2. It was incredible. So we want to thank you again for coming on, taking your time. I know you're busy, so we appreciate the love.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I forgot the roses, the physical roses. So
Can't keep forgetting this now.
yo, it's gonna be an
Keep
emoji,
forgetting
an
You forgot
emoji
it for
thing
Tamara.
all day.
You forgot
I
it
know.
for her.
I'm gonna have
This
to
is
mail
it.
her some roses. I'm gonna have to mail you some roses.
Yeah.
You know
Tamara's
what I
waiting
mean?
for her roses.
I know she is. I got
So,
you. I got you,
okay.
Coach T.
As
Got
long as
you.
you know, as long as you know. Women's Month, man. So we want to represent the women, man. You guys are all out here doing amazing things. It shouldn't be a month.
It's
It should
every
be
day,
all
really.
year.
It's every day.
Every day.
It is every day.
Not a month.
You know what I mean? And technically, they only gave y'all a day. You know what I mean? We're giving them a month.
Well, listen.
Let's do it. That's how we do it over here at Hip Hop Hoops.
It's in the best month, March.
Bottom line.
You feel me? So
You know what I mean? The
I don't
weather's getting
mind.
nice. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely. First day of
transitioning.
spring, yeah.
Transitioning from winter to
Yes.
spring. Oh, yeah. Let's go.
So I want to get down, man. I want to know when you were young, what players influenced you?
Like in my immediate community or at the
I
pro
want to know
level?
everything because when I was growing up, I had a few guys from my area, West Road and Black Creek, that influenced me, just inspired me to want to play basketball. And then I had guys when I'd watch NBA, like, oh man, Jordan, that's the guy.
Same.
You know what I mean? So I had some guys locally, and then obviously I had MJ as one of my guys. So who's it for you?
Definitely. Well, in Connections, the area I grew up in, there was a girl named Doreen, and she was, I think, 2 years older than me, and she would just kill guys on the court. And that's someone that, like, just being in the same community, seeing her do that, I was like, okay, man, I know I could do this too.
Shout out Derain.
That's right.
We see you. Come on now.
And
let them know where Connections is.
Jaden Finch,
Let's
man,
go.
stand
Let's
up.
go.
We've been
Stand
here,
up,
long
baby.
time, long time.
We in here.
Am I gonna get
Yeah.
double teamed again today? Like,
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry,
all
man.
right, let her go on.
Yeah, and I gotta send a special shout out to my old heads. When I started off playing for grassroots, I was the young girl. It's funny, that's why I call all my players now. I'd be like, young girl. And they just brought me into an environment that was about like female empowerment and striving. We were chasing scholarships, like we were really doing it, to get out and to aspire towards more. And so specific people. Like, I want to shout out Vanessa Kabongo. She was one of the most athletic players and teammates I ever had. That's my homegirl, Kalisha Keene. We used to call her She-Bron.
Yes.
I remember first time.
She's tough.
Yeah,
She went to
first-
Michigan State.
She did.
She is tough.
Yeah. Her little brother's Keza Keene.
Yes.
He's representing Team Canada.
Yes.
Takima Keene is Kalisha and Takima are actually coaching at the Division I level at different schools. So
Nice.
What was that? Cleveland State or?
Cleveland State, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a couple Canadians. Tamika was there. And so, like, there was just Stephanie Skerber's another one. She was the first Canadian I saw play at that college level. I went to University of Miami. Tashi played there as well.
Shout
So
out Tashi, man.
Shout out
yeah,
Tashi.
yeah, and
She was a monster on defense for sure.
yeah, like there's been, as much as I could say, I didn't really have any female coaches to look up to, but from a player standpoint, from a perseverance standpoint, yo, shout out light skinned Donna with the green eyes, man.
Green eyes.
Khalil. Shout out Khalil too.
Khalil Foster,
She
like,
was nice.
yeah, there's just been a lot of women who's really set that bar high for girls
Yeah.
in
Yes.
the GTA. My teammate Janae, aka I call her Petite Denim.
Yes, Janae, we see you.
Yeah.
So any WNBA?
Oh, for sure.
Who are some of the girls that you?
For sure. So, like, Dawn Staley is a big one for me. And I look up to her as a coach
She's
now.
amazing, ain't she?
Yeah. She
Oh, she's
she
incredible.
coaches one of my young girls right now. But Don Staley for sure. Shannon Bobbitt was big for me. I went to TVCC where Shannon went before she went to Tennessee and played with Candace Parker. So
the
she's
handle queen.
Yeah, she had a book
Handles
come
were
out
neat.
or something like that. So she's back in New York and stuff. But I mean, just like watching the players in the WNBA was huge for me because I was like, man, like, you know, you're living in Toronto, living in Canada, any opportunity you get to see a WNBA game. We didn't have an app that you could watch your games.
Right.
And it's not like TSN or SportsCenter or anybody like that was showing women's basketball.
Exactly.
So through my sport involvement, I was fortunate enough for, you know, guys like Coach Swain and Coach Rowe and you know, Ducky, like they just put me in an environment that I could see women in positions that I wanted to be in through that sport journey. Right. And I also want to shout out Eastern because that's where I got my start off coaching.
The smallest gym in the GTA, but they develop some gods.
Oh yeah.
Come on now.
Yep.
Yeah. The level of talent that they produced in that school.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That little small gym.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I thought I was nice.
Right.
I remember when I first got to Eastern, Kareem Griffin recruited me.
Shout out Kareem.
Shout
My
out
boy, man.
Coach
My
Griffin,
boy.
we see
he
you.
We gotta get him on here soon.
Yeah,
Soon.
he does the thing. He does the thing. And I remember walking into Eastern and, you know, we had training camp and stuff. And I'm just, you know, I was in the 10th grade at the time. I spent 4 years there. And, you know, I walk in right away. I see this white girl. She has her shorts kind of low. I'm like, man, this girl's kind of sus. You know, like I never played against a white girl that was nice. When I tell you she pulled that thing from half right in my face, I said, whoa. You know, so I spent a lot of that year doing a lot of learning, right? And that was Vanessa Kabongo. That was Lindsay Wagner. That's actually who the girl was. Man, Tamika, Sade. Like there's a lot of old heads that really set a standard for excellence, and it's the reason why a couple years down the road we became the only city team to win in OFSA, AAA, and then Quad A consecutive years.
Crazy.
So it was quite
That's
an
big
experience.
time.
But
So how was that transition, man? You leaving from Connections and going to Eastern?
yeah,
That's a long ass TTC ride.
yeah. You know what? The commute was longer because in my 8th grade year, because a lot of things were going on in Connections,
Right.
like right underneath where we lived. We were 304, 204. There was like a crazy shooting, 12 bullet holes, a whole 9.
Wow.
Right.
And so my mom, she's a hairdresser, and she actually saved up a bunch of money, took out some loans, and we moved up to Weston and Major Mac in a semi-detached.
Okay.
And it was a complete culture shock for me. I
course.
did half of my 8th grade year up there and grade 9. And it was a very tumultuous time for me because I didn't understand why we were leaving.
Right.
Like we left and
You were
like,
pissed.
not
A
only
little
that,
bit.
we didn't even have furniture. We were sleeping on
Oh,
carpet. Like I was like, what are we
okay.
doing?
Right.
Now we got water in a bucket when I could have just taken 20-minute hot showers. All my friends.
Right.
I look outside, I see one of those dust balls rolling. Like there was no bus, there was nothing up in Weston and Major Max. So
They
it
were
was
still developing back then.
that's right. And when I first started at Eastern, actually, Kareem would drive all the way up and get me for our morning,
Shout out
and then
Kareem,
go
man.
all the way back
Real
to
Kareem's
talk.
the GOAT.
BCCA.
He's
Yeah.
the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't know is, so I did that commute for about a year. I bounced around a lot during high school, but my last year and a half, Kareem actually moved out of his home so that I could live with his mom, who at the time, rest in peace, Mrs. Griffin.
Rest in peace.
She's a cancer survivor and she was going through chemotherapy. So he bummed a couch so that I could have somewhere to stay while I was on welfare.
Right.
Wow.
So again, that's the love that a coach can instill in a young person, right? And we just thought, well, Kareem's at practice. We didn't know the man's working nights and then coming to coach
he's a
girls
grinder,
basketball.
man.
And
Grinder.
so
Definition.
I got to shout out Kareem. I got to shout out Coach Rowe. Coach Rowe was my parental guardian. He actually signed papers to be my guardian. Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't really know that, but yeah.
When I
So
told him you were coming on, he's like, "You guys got my daughter?"
Let's
Yeah.
go.
yeah,
He's excited. He's excited.
yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Nah, man. So another question. We were talking about, some of the basketball players you used to look up to on the female side.
Yeah.
So what are your top 5 women basketball players of all time?
Well, right off the bat, I'm gonna put Cappie Pondexter.
Mm.
She's up there for me. She's up there for me because
She can play with the guy.
that's what I'm saying. When I watch her play in college, when I tell you the confidence level she espoused was just different. Like she had a WNBA tattoo before she was in the league.
Right.
That's when you know you're nice. So
Manifestation.
she's up there for me. For sure, Dawn Staley is up there for me. Like she's just been a trailblazer. Elite level point guard.
She's done everything, I think. Like, did she coach in WNBA? I know she
don't
played.
know if she
played
We're-
USA.
Yeah, we're just breaking the barriers for the coaching for
Yeah.
like former players coaching
Okay.
now.
Right.
Like there's been a few.
Yeah,
She's up there for me. Man, top 5. That's really tough.
it's tough.
That's 2 so far.
I like.
Yeah,
Swoops
yeah.
is up there for
you know,
me.
Swoops is up there. Well, I want to go more current generation. I want to say Kia.
Mhm.
Kia Nurse gave kids from kind of this generation something to tangibly see and excel towards.
And she has her own AAU team as well,
She's got
right?
her own
Yeah.
AU team.
Right.
And you know what? I actually was covering Kia. I was working for the Jewel League of Ontario, and there was 2 young women. It was Kia Nurse and it was Shay Colley from Nova Scotia.
Mhm.
And it was like watching the female LeBron and Kobe.
Mm.
Because
God.
Kia will run through you and let you know about it. Like I dare you try to take a charge on her. That's a 6-foot guard coming towards you.
Yeah, she's taking it right
And,
through you.
yeah, she played national team since she was really young, and she was always so driven. Her older sister Tamika played. I watched her play as well.
She went to UConn.
She went to
Nurse.
UConn.
Where did her sister attend? You know.
Winner through and through. I'm not sure about Tamika. I think she
heard about her
played some
sister
pro
before.
low. Yeah, Tamika played back in the day. I watched her play, but I can't remember what college she went to. But like Kia's tough because she didn't just do it. She's doing it and she's still visible. She's
Right.
still trying to get back to the community, right?
Right.
You'll catch her at an OSBA game hyping up, her Lincoln Prep team. So you got to rate it. You got to respect it. So just because of that, from a Canadian context, she's up there for me. When I came back from school in 2012, I met Tammy Sutton Brown, and if I'm not
Shout
mistaken,
out to Tammy.
she's our first female Canadian drafted player in the WNBA,
Right.
and
She won the NBA title.
she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Indiana, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So Tammy Sutton Brown's up there. She's with the 905 now. She's doing a lot of culture stuff
Right.
and athlete support stuff. So I'd say that's number 4. And who would I give this final spot to?
Cheryl Miller.
Cheryl Miller is tough. See, like I'm a person that I'll always give my respect because you talk. I mean, Reggie Miller's told the story a million times about Cheryl, right?
Right.
But I'm also thinking about like who's changed the game.
Right.
Like she was crazy nice, and a lot of people know about her because of Reggie and the career that Reggie did.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at somebody like a Sylvia Fowles or somebody like even a Brittany Griner,
Dunking in games.
yeah, like slamming up the place. To me,
Right.
that's a different level impact. Now, is it X amount of championships, X amount of Hall of Famers? No, but what does it do for the game? And to me, I'm all about the impact you can make
Yes.
to the game itself.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I dig that.
I rate that.
Because Brittany Griner was like, I don't think she was the first girl to dunk in a game, but the way she did it, like
Oh,
a
yeah.
drop step dunk,
That's
two
what I'm
Beast
hand
saying.
in a
mode,
game.
man. Beast mode.
Breakaway.
You know what I
Cheat
mean?
code to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So I don't think females were
Yeah.
doing it
Yeah. And
like that at that time.
And listen, like she's had to, and obviously is still overcoming a lot. But when she first started playing, I remember watching an old YouTube video when she was like in the 10th grade. People were like, "Yo, who's that? Tayshaun Princess?"
Yeah, making fun of her.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like
yeah.
she's been so like
But yo,
she
yo,
knows
Tayshaun
what I mean.
Princess, that's pretty creative though. That's funny.
Yeah.
My bad,
It
my bad.
was
No
it was
disrespect, but that's funny
still, but like she, like, you got to give her flowers
She
because
went through a lot, man.
she went through a lot, and
Yeah.
she changed the game.
She changed the game
changed the game.
completely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. I want to go back a little bit and talk about your experience, man, being recruited, a player being recruited, and I want to compare it to how players are being recruited today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it because you're around all these girls.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you're a young girl at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you were around for the process. How was it? How was it different?
Well, I mean, with everything, anything can be good until we get too much of it, right? Like
Right.
and when I look at where recruiting is now, I think the good thing about it is there's a lot of platforms. I think technologically we've got to a point where a 30-second highlight mix can get you a scholarship offer. And the biggest difference back then is
It's
we
sad
didn't-
but true.
yeah, we didn't have the opportunity to really close those gaps. Like if we didn't have coaches in the building, in the specific gyms, or have coaches that had those specific relationships,
Right.
there was a lot of talent that didn't make it in women's
whole
game
lot
and
of
especially in
talent.
the men's game. Like there's a
Yes.
lot of talent that should have gone that didn't get
Right.
the denim type opportunities, that didn't
Right.
get the Olu type opportunities, right? And so I think
Agreed.
that's the single most biggest difference. I think less about getting scholarships and more about the process of being a student athlete. I think that shifted a lot. And I think back in the day, it was like, man, you're signing up for this and you're giving it your all. And regardless of what role that you have, like you're bought in because that's what it is. And I think right now, from like a resilience standpoint, we have a lot of players that really struggle. And again, post-pandemic with like, how do I have tough conversations? How do I, it's hard for me to see somebody else excelling when I feel like I should be too.
Right.
But it's driven by our external environment. It's no different than when I scroll on Instagram and someone's body looks better than mine, or somebody's jump shot looks better than mine, right? And so we're seeing that in the sport world where it's like, man, anything that's tough, mom and dad are coming in. Well, you got to find a different situation.
Right.
But then you find out, well, 3-4 schools later, it wasn't the situation. It's you.
It's you.
It's you. It ain't, when I got to University of Miami, like there was a lot of lower schools I could have went to, but it's something I signed up for. So at the end of the day, if I'm playing behind 2 McDonald All-Americans, I signed up for that.
That's what you signed up for. You just
I
gotta
didn't sign up to
put the pedal to the metal and grind.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And that's not to say you can't strive towards it. And again, you get better each year, right? You put in work through the process.
Right.
And it's not to say also that coaches aren't learning in the process too. Like as coaches, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. But at the NCAA level, I mean, the goal is to win. It's a business.
Right.
Like if you don't win, and even to the expense of graduating players, like if you don't win, your job's not there.
Your job's gone.
And as a former Canadian university coach, one of the things that I appreciated was like being an athlete in this Canadian market system and then being a coach. It's like there's so much other things that are just as high on the priority list than winning, right? Graduating, student experience,
all that,
community service, like, so it's recruiting is day and night. There's still a lot of kids looking for opportunities. When we step out of Ontario, I think there's a lot of gaps. I think there's a lot of gaps. BC's done a good job with their youth development. Quebec, the language barrier has been tough.
Have they been getting better in Quebec? I feel I went to Concordia.
More
in the
kids
early
are
2000s,
getting looks, but you also have to consider, like, if I'm a kid that grows up in Quebec and my dream is to play in the NCAA, but I grew up in the CJEP system,
how
am I gonna learn English?
Right.
Perfect example. I met a young woman, a 7th grader, about a month ago at Brampton Playground, and I was asking her about her, and she said to me that her parents moved her up here for the year, just so, like, they took out some resources and stuff just so she could learn English, so that 6 years from now she can actually feel comfortable going through a process of considering considering an NCAA scholarship.
Right.
So
shout out the parents for that.
Absolutely,
Good job.
yeah. So
You know what I mean?
it just depends on who you're talking to. And again, great academic options and coaching and player development and opportunities to play pro in the Quebec landscape, but that's still a barrier.
Right.
Like if I only speak French, I can't study in English anywhere else,
That's
right?
tough. That's tough.
And they're not going to give you that translation stuff.
No.
It's gonna be strictly English.
It doesn't work like that.
Right.
I think the biggest change I see is, like, when I was going through my whole process, I didn't have my top 10. These are my top 10 schools. I'm seeing kids now, they got top 20 schools, top 15 schools, and they're breaking it down every other month. Like, they're
it's
changing
a prestige thing.
And I'm just like,
and at the end of the day, we got coaches now, man. Like, imagine
and the texting stuff was, we couldn't do all that.
Imagine if you had,
let me text this coach.
Imagine if you had a coach, how the kids have coaches now that's been through the system, or
you're
know a lot about.
You're growing your beard, huh?
I'm trying to
nice.
catch up to you, baby.
It's nice. Okay, carry on. My bad.
Get that goatee on.
I recognize. I see you. Go ahead.
We don't have the coaches like, I mean, we have them now, but back then, obviously, with the Rev, Coach Rowe was around, Wayne Dawkins was around, Coach Rana, Coach John Smith, Simeon Mars. There was a few guys around, but now there's so much more men and women that know the game, know the ins and outs, that are showing our young people the steps to take. You know what I mean? And we're starting at a younger age now, man.
Absolutely.
That's right.
You guys are doing a great job, man.
Yeah, shout out Yates, man. You know what it is, man. Yes. But that's how it goes right now, man. So that's one of the major differences I see.
I couldn't find,
you know what I mean?
The fifth, what are you guys doing? 5th grade?
Yeah, 5th grade.
Yeah, there was
kids,
no
man.
such thing for me.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Some of these kids are built differently. I'm heading to CYBL, not too long after this. I was at the last session. I said, what grade is this? Somebody said 6th grade. I said, that kid has a size 13 feet.
Right.
Like, what are we, you know what I'm saying? What are we feeding these kids?
Probably living in Durham, man. I swear, in Durham, the water's different, man. They got the height and the size, man. Shout out Durham Gators. Shout out everybody in Durham. I don't know what's out there, man, but the water, man, is different.
I want to ask you a question of coaching. You coaching at St. FX. This might sound silly, but I was just thinking about it. When you were there, did you ever try to recruit an American kid? Did that ever?
Yeah,
it might sound crazy,
yeah.
but I'm curious to understand. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. So like it's interesting at the Canadian youth sport level because there are so many different things conference wise. There's 4 conferences, but also in those conferences, each school moves differently. So everybody's budget is different. So like there's some schools that if you're recruiting the international, which American would be considered,
yes,
then they'll match that as a domestic cost. So for like at a Nova Scotia school, if you were able to match that, they're paying significantly less than an international student who actually is paying like 3 or 4 times more. Right, and you're not really able. You don't have full scholarship, so it makes a world of a difference.
Right.
So the bigger the budget, the more you can do. The better support you get administratively to bring in international prospects, the better your team's gonna be.
Right.
What you'll see is a lot of the teams that have competed and win are often they have internationals from Europe. They have NCAA bounce backs or NCAA caliber kids that choose to stay. And so, yeah, no, for sure. I had actually my first recruiting class in 2019. We had a couple kids who had Division I and Division II looks, and you know that was a big part of the reason why we were able to throw 5 first years out there, and I didn't really know what they were doing. But I mean, if it was up to me, like I definitely would like. There's just a lot of talent out there. National team kids from different countries that want an opportunity to play in North America, and they can't necessarily distinguish between going to, you know, Canisius University and St. FX University, right? So I think it comes down to the support you have for your school. And yeah, I wish I could have definitely recruited some internationals and true Americans. I was talking to a couple of them, but then it's kind of like give or take, right? What are you giving up? Right. I think it was important for me to, you know, every team that I've coached, everyone got something, right? And that's not necessarily the model that other people have. Other people will have maybe 3 kids that really do their thing, and then you might not. Yeah, you know, the privileges you're on the team. So I think it just depends on the model that you work with.
Definitely. Just to piggyback off that, U Sports giving out full scholarships. Do you think we'll ever get to that level where we'll give our Canadian talent a full ride to go to school, hoop?
So, yeah, a few opinions about that. I think hockey and football are king, and I'll start with hockey first, and then football secondary, and then everything else comes. So I think if we do get to a point where we're really there scholarship-wise, it started in those 2 sports before it would happen in basketball. Now, from an equity-seeking standpoint, I think football and basketball would be the teams that you'd probably want to focus on, just because socioeconomically, kids that are playing hockey are coming from backgrounds that can support someone playing hockey.
Right.
The reason why I think we're far away from there is because I just don't think we have enough people at the table that are strategizing and prioritizing getting scholarships, right? Like a lot of people that go to university can either afford to go to university or they're educated enough to understand what it means to get money to help you go to university.
Right.
If I didn't have a brother who went through the OSAP process, I would have no idea how to do it because it's just not the circle that I'm in, right?
Shout out Sam, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Sam. So, you know, and coming up, to be honest, like, I just thought it cost $1 million to go to school here in Canada. It wasn't even a consideration.
It feels that way, right?
Yeah. There was one school I said I would go to if I played in Canada, and it was the University of Windsor for Chantal Vallée. And that's just, they were winning so much, like, and I was like, man, this would be my Canadian option. Yeah,
they got a good program.
Yeah. But we're so far away. There's a lot that I'd like to see change at the U Sport level. I want to shout out my boy Tejan Graham. He's a forward for Nipissing. He just held the first ever like shoot for change game. So they played against Ontario Tech. Yeah. And they fundraised $17,000 for BIPOC scholarships. Yeah. Now the crazy thing is when I played D1 and when I came here, I actually received more in funding through the academic piece and the schooling piece than I did in basketball. And so you get a lot of incentives that way. That's right. My master's was completely paid for.
Nice.
So you could be like a 4-year scholarship student in the States, but then once you do your master's or your graduate, unless you have something worked out with the team or something else, you got to come out of pocket for it. So what I've noticed is we've actually had kids, because now like a degree's not enough. You got to do post-grad, right?
Right.
Depending on what you want to do. So we've had kids go and have 4 years paid for, but then come back and have to spend a lot to kind of get the post-grad here. So
And no one, like, I didn't even know about that. I thought once I had my BA, my little BA from Concordia, I thought, I made it. I'm coming back home.
Trust
Let's
me.
go.
That's how we feel. Yeah.
Totally reality check, man. There's
it's a blessing,
the post grad piece is huge.
Yeah, and we're
It's
first
huge.
generations, right? Like we're like my brother set a standard there, and like that's for some families they're 4 or 5 years ahead, right? And we know that there's a systemic basis of that, but it was a huge deal for my family, to even say, hey, like I want to get a master's, and now that sets a standard too.
Definitely set the standard for the community, that's for sure. Definitely.
So you mentioned your brother, and obviously he was super important to you and helpful. When you chose to go to the Canadian school when you left Miami, he was a big help for that, right?
Yeah. So when I came back in 2012, he actually was going through a lot of health issues, and that was a big reason why I came back from the States. And he gave me my first $100 actually to start Can Leads. And he was like, Lee, like if this is really what you want to do. And I didn't know how to navigate the school system. And I was kind of doing two things. I was basically spending my days and my weekends doing basketball coaching. I was writing for North Pole Hoops. I was working for the Jewel League of Ontario. I was unofficially running a scouting service, connecting players with coaches. But then I was working 12-hour shifts overnight in different factory jobs so I can help out at home. And I remember I came home one night and my brother just said, Lee, like jump in the car. At the time he couldn't drive. And him and my mom, we drove up to Laurier, and he actually set up a meeting with his business professor who he looked up to. And she helped me go through the application process to the school piece. We were well past the deadline, but she still helped me through it. And I'll never forget that. I remember being super bust because I wanted to sleep, but it was a blessing in disguise because months later I had gotten accepted into the school. I remember even them saying, look, like registration's done. So if you could get a shot in the dark by just applying to the arts, and once you're in, get your foot in the door, then you can kind of maybe because that's the space I wanted to be in. But I'm just so thankful I had that experience with him, right? And my brother had a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and definitely that was one of the things that he was able to impart in me. And when he passed away, it was just like a family decision that if I was to go to school, like that's where I would go in honor of him.
Definitely. And we can shout out your mom for putting that battery in your back. She kind of said, yo, you got to continue. You got to continue and keep it going. Push that bar even higher. That Sam set for you guys. Yeah,
losing a child is tough. I think it was heartbreaking. I had to break the news to my mom over the phone and break the news to my younger sibling. And it just, that's never something you actually recover from, right? I would never wish that on my worst enemies. But I know my brother's watching over me, and he didn't do nothing in the sports space, but he was a genius.
Chartered accountant. Come on, man. Fresh out of Finch. Let's go.
Facts. And no tutors, no private school.
None of that.
And that's who he was up against in his class. So
definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So how was the transition from being a player to being a coach?
I think for me, it's been a seamless one, and I think it's because I always knew I wanted to coach. Like I knew I was blessed enough to have the right people around me to help me learn the game and train the game and my work ethic. I mean, if I wasn't in the library, I was on the court. Right. But I just knew, and I think looking back now, it's because all the positive figures I had in my life who really didn't have a reason to want to help me were coaches. Right. So it was just that natural, altruistic, I want to help you become the best version of yourself. And I saw value in that. So Trevor Bullen gave me an opportunity to coach the junior boys Eastern team. Coach Rowe would have me in the mix a lot with his guys that he was bringing in. I remember bringing in Andrew Wiggins to Falstaff, and hey Lee, I got to this phone call, put him through a workout. You know what I mean? Or we're at the Finch tournament, I'm coaching the 17s, right? And people are like, who's that? Who's this 5'2" girl coaching 6'10" guys? But that transition I think has been seamless because I started coaching at a young age. I still consider myself really young. Definitely. Now I may not know all the rap songs and stuff I got me a nice gospel list and I listen to some alternative music and stuff. But I'm thankful for that opportunity. And from a high performance standpoint, since that 2012 period, I started coaching more formally with Ontario basketball, and that's also something that has taught me a different world of coaching because we've gotten this is what's going to get you out the hood. Yeah. You need your education paid for. And so from a physical standpoint, there's nothing we can't do. From a mentality standpoint, there's nothing we won't go through. Right. But to get that other part of it, right? Decision-making, periodization, practice planning. And when I started to bring that into our community, you know, people are like, oh, shoot, like, I like that. What's that? And I'm like, this is the formal side of coaching. You know, like, it ain't about the guys running through the wall sometimes. We got to, like, teach them the concepts.
Right.
And so I've been blessed enough to be able to do that in the women's game and the men's game, but it wouldn't be without having both. Right? Like, we got to have a certain type of hunger that we instill in our kids to get them to be competitive, because that's what life is. It's
a
about
competition,
right? And if it's not against somebody else, well, it's a constant battle against your own mind telling you what you can or can't do, right?
That's deep right there.
Absolutely. 2012, you founded Can't Lead Sports. Let's talk about it, because I know we got a huge All-Star game coming up.
Yes.
April 15th.
Yes.
We will be there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, man.
Thank you. So, yeah, 2012, I came back, and I didn't realize that just through my lived experience and being a Black female that also coached, that also did some training with guys and girls, that I was like, I was a connector. So I was connecting young people with kind of coaches here in Canada and there in the States. I was doing a lot of training. I started to do some social media stuff, and I said, man, being on the guy side a lot, I realized that we don't have anything for our young women. And, you know, like, I don't think there was a month that went by that I didn't get a call from a young African girl that's like, Coach Lee, please, can you come talk to my dad? They just don't understand. They just don't understand. And to this day, I mean, even
they still don't understand.
Yeah, like I mean, even we have a young girl at Oregon, 6'7" kid, Filipina. Shout out Philly. She played at Crestwood for a year, but over COVID, so nobody really got a chance to see her. But I remember just like from a cultural standpoint.
Hold up. Did you say 6'7"?
That's right. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'll be looking up
so
to
we're
her,
still like in some households it's not like we're still dealing with like kind of gender norms and like perceptions of what girls and guys should do. And like, you know, I'm talking to Auntie and it's, but Lee Anna, I don't understand. Why does this help?
Right.
If she's not, you know, and I have to break it down. Well, the education piece, the experience piece, the social piece, like the worldly experience piece, like there's a lot to come from that. And so I'm happy I've been able to do that. But Can't Lead really was the beginning of that. I like doing a lot more on-court training stuff, and then I ventured into some media. So the first thing we did was start like the first website dedicated to girls basketball, like in the country. Now, obviously, we covered a lot of Ontario stuff. So we were covering like club tournaments, OBAs. I got invited to OFSA. And we were doing like play-by-plays. And that time, nobody was really on Twitter like that.
Right.
So it was like, whoa, like I'm a dad from Moulton and I can like retweet my daughter's scoring. Yeah. So it was really cool. So I realized that I've always had a passion for like the academic and administrative and media side as much as I do the on-court side. And I've always kept that with me. A big turning point, though, was when I decided to go back to school full-time, right? So we did that 1 year and things happened really, really fast. And it wasn't too long afterwards that I sat down with Kareem. And at the time, Kareem's done a ton of coaching, Ryerson, Seneca, Team Ontario, Eastern. You can't tell me any other coach back in the day that baggy pants, braids. People couldn't distinguish between him and the players themselves. They never thought he was a coach.
Young boy.
That's right. But he loved events that brought the basketball community together. So if you remember oh my goodness, what's this called? We had like alumni of Eastern and Oakwood playing.
Jeffries played in that.
That's right.
Was that at Ryerson?
That's right. Yeah. He was doing a bunch
Ryerson.
of stuff.
Did it at Father Henry Carr as well?
That's right. That Battle of
the Generations.
Battle of the Generations.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. So he loved that, and he was like, Lee, well, I love doing events. You're doing the training side of things. Like, let's just merge it. And I was like, cool. So now I could afford to just focus on my school and my basketball, and then we could strategize over the summertime what this looked like. And then, you know, here we are, like 10 years later, we've been doing Can't Leads. We just became a not-for-profit in 2020. But like the crazy thing about it is like again, neither him or myself had the capacity of building a business. So like we've had a shoestring budget. With that being said, we've been able to help so many kids and families with very little. So now we're getting ready and getting to a point where we're going with a deck. Like, listen, look at what we did with a little. Imagine what we could do with a lot, right? Especially there's an issue of recruitment and retention in girls sports across the country, especially coming out of pandemic. So there's definitely things that we have on the move there. And one of them is the All-Star game. Shout out CYBL and Shane James for giving us an opportunity to head the women's side of that. But we definitely want to help grow the game. That's where we're united. So Canleats right now is recognized as the largest platform for girls Canadian basketball. We have a NCAA certified scouting service. We do a ton of training. Now that I'm back as well, I've been fortunate enough to be the face, but the work has been Kareem, it's been Tevye, it's been John Amois, it's been it's been Miss Michelle, it's been Janelle Griffin, Kareem's sister, who works for CNN, right? Like there's a team there that has really cared about our why. And I think it's helped us in the basketball community because it's not we don't mess with them and we don't talk to you. Because we're just, listen, anything we can do to grow the game, let me know.
Let's do it.
Let me know. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And this is the first year for the All-Star game, right?
It is. And we're hoping it's something we can continue. Like if it could be.
It looks amazing though. When I see John and Mo send me stuff, I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Yeah. 100 girls. So it's 15th and 16th. The games are the 16th. Friday they'll do pickup and media day and stuff.
Right.
But it's 5 games, it's 100 girls, and it's every age group from kind of middle school. Our last game will be kind of like our most talented kids going down south.
Right.
Yeah. So
nice.
Tell everybody where it's going to be located.
It's going to be Playground Durham.
Yeah.
And games start at 9. It's going to be tough. If you want to catch some CYBL youth hoops as well, they'll be using some of the other gyms. But
I believe our CYBL grade 5s will be playing that day as well.
That's right.
All-Star game. So I'll be coaching.
Yeah. And shout out Under Armour, man.
Under Armour, yeah,
putting their money where their mouth is, and offer some subsidized costs.
CYBL,
to
Shane James,
sport.
all of them, man.
That's
you guys got that vision, man. Salute to you guys.
I love it.
Definitely. So question, just to piggyback off of Canaleats development and where you guys started from and where you guys are going.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about quickly the Black Canadian Coaches Association that you founded?
Sure. Yeah. So 2020 BCCA was founded, but I can't take credit for the BCCA because my academic hat for a long time has always wondered, hey, how come we're missing a celebration of Black Canadians in sport? I know I've been impacted by many people, many mentors, many of them have been coaches. So I started to do some research and I realized that there was an original Black Coaches Association founded by some of the greats in American football and basketball, right? The John Cheneys and so forth. And, I said, wow, there was an original BCA. Where's the Canadian version of this? And at the same time, I was like, we have the Harry Jerome Awards, which is named after an athlete, but we don't actually do a lot in the athletic space. And so when I'm looking at this changing landscape, like in 2018, when I started working at St. FX, I was the youngest coach in the country, the first Ghanaian female. I was the first hired varsity basketball coach to be a Black female on the whole side of the Maritimes, right? Mm-hmm. And so I started to kind of do some research, and I had an unpleasant experience in my first year that really said to me, hey, like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more here. So let me dive into Sport Canada resources. Let me look at Canadian Women in Sport. Let me look at Coaching Association of Canada. And I was like, wow, from a cultural standpoint, we're really missing this. And I did a master's in history, and I wanted to talk about Black Canadian athletes and coaches. And I realized that there wasn't actually like a breadth of a historiography there. So like a history of histories about specific kind of people. And I was like, dang, like something's missing, because like Canada's built on the backs of our diversity, right? Language diversity, cultural diversity, newcomers, immigrants. Like this is incredible what we're doing, but there's something missing here. And whether we're talking specifically about the experiences of people that have been held down over time, or even just celebrating, we don't have it. And so I started working on something and I didn't quite know what it was. All of that was fast-tracked once COVID hit. So once I wasn't in the community or training kids or working with my own kids or practice planning, I was like, okay, legally I can't leave my house. I have a computer. I'm staring at a white wall. And I'm one of a few Black females living in a very rural town. So what can I do? And that year hit me differently. Ahmaud Arbery passed away on my birthday. Racism was something my brother struggled with. And George Floyd passed away, I think it was like a day after my late brother's birthday. And so that span from like February to May, I just was like, and from a coaching standpoint, a lot of coaches and administrators are trying to figure out, what can we do? How do we have these tough conversations? How do we become allies? And a lot of my mentors said, Lee, if we're going to do something, it has to be now. So first and foremost, we wanted to create a platform to disrupt the narrative about Black people as people who, like just us being killed and marginalized and held back. And I said, we need to tell stories. there's too many builders in the game. There's too many Coach Rose. There's too many Wayne Dawkins. Too many people who've done stuff that have never gotten the recognition that they deserve.
Right.
So let's start going beyond the sidelines and telling stories. 2, we need to move with our brothers and sisters to the left and right of us who know they may not understand our lived experience, but they have a sense of the plight that we've had historically in this space, whether we're talking about sports or education or health or our prison system.
Yeah.
Right.
And we need to create a platform where we can connect with like-minded people in that regard, with our allies. And then thirdly, we need opportunities to network. If there's anything the pandemic taught us is that, it's not an in-person thing anymore.
Nope.
If you're going to support somebody, it's on Zoom. It's a phone
Zoom
call.
thing now.
It's a text. So,
Yep.
so those are the 3 objectives for the BCCA. We're very fortunate that, and I think part of this is timing too, right? Like sometimes just the way God works it out. But the Coaching Association of Canada partnered with us early on, and it gave us a lot of clout in the Canadian sport community. Because if you want to be any kind of coach, you got to go through them. You can't coach our national teams, can't be an OBA. Like you need to go through this process.
Right.
And we realized that there was a gap there, specifically for Black women, because they were doing a lot in the female coaching. But it almost became like a spearhead, because then it was like, whoa, national sport organizations now want to talk to us. Okay, now we have young people and athletes that want to connect to other athletes. So it helped us create a platform. And now with the BCCA, we have 10 groups. 8 of them are sports specific. So like football, basketball, we have a lot of representation there. But we also have like hockey, volleyball, multi-sport. And just, I remember almost every single call that we had, we would have a Zoom call, and our members would come on. And I remember in some of those sports that didn't have representation, it was like, I've never in my life seen or met other Black people in the sport. And we have people who are like 40 years in the game.
Wow.
So you see that there was a breadth of experience and people who have given their lives to the game that haven't even been able to connect with someone to share their experiences or know there's someone to talk to. I myself benefited because I was able to connect with the other Black female head coaches across the country, and Zoom became that platform. So instead of me, going back to, like, I had a lot of difficult challenges, I was able to now connect with people that could relate to me, and so the BCCA has been awesome for that. We have actually Canada's first anti-racism in sport e-learning module dropping.
Right.
CAC headed that, brought us on as a content lead. We established a Black student athlete mental health fund at the Canadian Center for Mental Health and Sport. We just want to advocate for as much change as possible while we're celebrating the ongoing accomplishments of people.
Amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah, a lot of winners. Shout out Coach Fabian. Coach Fabian won an OSBA championship. Merrick Palmer as well is on staff. Handle Kip won a championship on the men's
Coach
side.
Kip.
Yeah.
That's the Western Road right there.
Amazing things going on for sure.
Right.
I dig
Nice.
it. We're gonna move on to the Monday Madness.
Let's do it. Monday Madness time.
I want to know your play of the week, sir.
My play of the week. You know what? I had 2 of them this week, man. My bad, man. It's been a while since I've seen everybody,
I know.
You know what I mean? I missed y'all, man. So a good chunk of the highlights are coming from Saturday.
Oh, my God. Really?
LeBron made it,
Really?
second all-time score past Karl Malone
So
during
you
this
showed
game.
him getting dunked on.
Hold that. You're getting dunked on, though, B. You know what I mean? Kristaps Porzingis, he's been getting a lot of flack since he's come to Washington, but, he got the win.
That was kind of weak.
And he kind of
man.
posterized LBJ.
I'm not feeling that one.
Man,
That's kinda
hold
weak.
that.
Go on.
Hold that.
What's the other one you got?
Oh, man, it's LBJ once again. You know what I mean?
Wow.
He's the self-proclaimed GOAT. Maybe the GOAT to the younger generation. You know what I mean?
Self-proclaimed.
But shout him out. He definitely created some history by being the second all-time leading scorer, passing Karl Malone during that Wizards game. And he had a dunk, man. He had a dunk. It didn't count, but it was like a windmill with the left in the lane, in game. It was dope to see. Hopefully we'll...
Do we have that clip or?
No?
Okay.
Okay. No worries. No worries.
Lee Anna, what's your play of the week?
My play of the week goes to Mr. Russell Westbrook.
Oh,
And,
man.
this is a gentleman that off the court I got a ton of respect from.
Look at his
He obviously
feet.
had a great collegiate career. He married his college sweetheart, Miss Nina. But the game itself, obviously hitting that shot in front of Drake and the Toronto fans, like it's huge, but
He blew the roof off with that shot, man.
Listen,
Sorry.
Russell Westbrook is a perfect example of they love you today, they hate you tomorrow, but you need to stay even, Steven. You got to stay there, and at the end of the day, like it's been a tough year. Like it's not to say like his numbers have been terrible, but you know people get on him. Yeah. Maybe decision making, shooting decisions, the whole KD stuff and drama.
But he's definitely having his worst career, his worst season.
That's right.
As a pro.
But
let's see if his foot is on the line here.
Come on, it was.
Imagine, look at this. But imagine the amount. Imagine the amount of.
Hold on. That foot's. Oh, he looked like he brought it back. Oh,
on the right there. Okay. On the right there.
Looked like you brought it back here.
Listen, it takes.
This one's good. It was not good.
Did he shuffle the back of it?
He pulled it back.
He did pull it back.
My
did pull
fault.
it back.
You gotta take it back now?
I'm gonna take it back. I apologize, Russ.
Yeah. He takes it back.
Often, that's actually...
That's some IQ right there. That's what LeBron was talking about. That's the IQ.
Wow, that's tough. That's tough. With Russ, I mean, that shot to me just tells me that he's so tough up here, and not a lot of guys are.
You gotta be. Yeah. You gotta be somewhat crazy to be in the NBA.
And he's been dealing with the heckling. You know, Skip is calling him Westbrick.
Yeah.
Like even
Shannon Sharp going in on him like that.
Yeah, but listen, at the end of the day, the man takes care of his family. He finds ways to give back.
Yo, he's bringing in 45. He's bringing in 45 mil next season too. So it is what it is, man. Yeah. Talk all the talk. But his dollars are his pockets are getting fat.
Ooh.
My play of the week, Fran Belibi. Let's check this out.
Hey.
This is incredible.
Get out.
This young girl, you gotta shout her out, man.
Hold
Women's
that.
Month in a game, Stanford.
Letitia, I need one of those. I hope you're watching this.
And
I need one of those.
Look, she gets the block though. Look at her.
Oh man, this is a slap fest. That made it 31-6, man.
Look at the score, guys. Look at the score.
Stanford's a real deal.
Shout out Montana State.
Yeah. Shout out Alyssa Jerome. You got Canadian on the roster.
Fran Belibi, guys. Fran Belibi. That's my player, man.
Yeah, Fran's tough.
She's definitely tough. Look at this angle too. So you guys think it's not a dunk? That's a dunk, guys.
Nah, it's not a three. It's not a 3-finger or 2-finger type dunk.
It's a dunk.
Her whole hand is in there.
Yes,
let's go.
It is a dunk.
Listen, the game is changing.
It is, man.
We were just talking about Brittany Griner, man. You know, look.
Yep.
She set the bar,
dunking. Let's go.
She set the bar. Shout out Brittany, man. Free Brittany, man. Let's go.
Get her out.
You said free Brittany. Okay. Team watch. Who you got?
My team watch, man. It's the team I think is gonna win the chip. Phoenix Suns. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They're 8-2 in their last 10. You know, no CP3,
Absolutely.
no problem.
Yeah.
You feel me? The evolution of Mikal.
Do you still think CP3 is MVP? Because it's like we're doing without him now.
We're doing without him. He's still on the sidelines.
What is he doing on the sidelines?
He's coaching. He's still coaching.
Right.
He's in man's
But listen,
ears.
when the lights have been on,
come on,
when
man,
the lights
don't
have
do
been
that.
on, come playoffs.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying he hasn't been playing. That's all I'm saying.
Chris Paul,
He's not there on the
mentally, physically, when he puts that battery in your back, Shay, you could Shay, please come on the show so you could attest this and you could agree with me with this one. When he puts that battery in your back, sky's the limit.
Listen, all I'm saying is like he gets these little nicks. Last year, the shoulder.
Right.
He was out there like this with one arm.
But he didn't get no time off. This is the perfect time for him right now to get that time off. And you got brothers like Mikal Bridges that's evolving. He's gonna be another piece. He's gonna be another. I don't know about defensive player of the year. Hopefully, an all defensive team.
He will for sure.
But that playoff push, Mikal's gonna do his damn thing.
Okay.
And they didn't have that last year. And they got a plethora of bigs. Shout out Bismack. You know what I mean? They got a plethora of bigs.
They do have the bigs.
You know what I mean? No disrespect to my guy that played on the team last year. He was the backup last year. The shooter.
Oh,
Kaminsky?
Yeah,
no disrespect to Kaminsky, but this is definitely an upgrade in the front court. You know what I mean?
Frank Kaminsky.
So I'm going with Phoenix, man. 8-2 in their last. They're number 1 right now. Golden State.
Sliding to third.
They're right
Come
there.
on, man. They lost Curry till the playoffs.
Is something wrong with Draymond too, or he's there?
Draymond's back.
Okay.
Is it the back or the calf?
Yeah, no, it was his calf, but he's on the court again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, I did say my preseason prediction that I said they're gonna go 8th or not make it.
No. Don't.
I said
don't,
8.
Don't do that.
They may
today.
slide, man. They may slide.
Golden
Don't
State?
do that
Golden
today.
State may
No,
slide to that
This
8 spot,
man
man.
here, this man here said that Golden State wouldn't make the playoffs. Let's get it correct.
Okay. I said they weren't gonna make.
We got the data now. We got the data now.
The evidence is there. You know what I mean?
Who's your team watch? We got the data. Don't try it now.
Listen, my team watch is, I'll be honest, one of the teams that I'm tuning in to watch is Memphis. Just
They slid the 2 slot,
it's
man.
excellence on the floor. I mean, everyone's just playing their role.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it in the results, right? And it's one thing if you're just kind of like a highlight dude, and then, what, you guys don't you have a chance to make playoffs? I mean, everybody's just buying into the role, and they care less about who's making the highlight and more about the team wins. Yeah. So I really like the way that they're balling.
Dylan Brooks' toughness. Shout out Dylan Brooks.
Shout out Coach Melnick, Father Henry Carr. Let's go.
Hey,
Dylan Brooks.
Oh my God, Melnick. My team watches Brooklyn. I was gonna choose Memphis. I thought you were gonna choose Memphis for some reason, so I was like, nah. I was choosing Brooklyn.
I was thinking about it.
They won their last 5 out of 6 games.
Right.
Kyrie, my God, like.
People are saying most skilled in the game. People are saying most skilled point guard.
I could say point guard. I will always go with Kobe Bryant for the most skilled player of all time. That's for me, Kobe Bryant. I just don't think there was any weaknesses in his game at all, even on the defensive end.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah. Kobe's for me. Point guard, I could say Kyrie is one of the most skilled. I'm not going to argue if somebody said that. Because he's skilled.
I will argue.
The way he shot.
He missed half a
I'm
season.
about that
more
smoke.
than half a season.
He got fresh legs, man. He's doing all this, playing, what, 17 games?
Hold on. This is what I'm trying to tell him.
Fresh ass legs,
this
man.
This is what I tried to tell him. It's different when you don't play and you come into a high-speed game in the league against the best players in the world. That fresh leg
listen, man, you have top-notch training around you.
It doesn't matter. Nothing.
You got the top-notch training.
Listen, I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
You shoot around all the time, probably, right?
Yeah.
You just played a game.
Right.
Tell me how that game intensity is.
It's different.
Right now, you're wobbled in here.
My hand is gone. And that was just a coach's parent game.
Exactly.
Right?
So now I'm
Shout out
trying
Hoop
to
City. Excellent All-Star game yesterday.
I'm trying to tell you Kyrie coming in, not playing. He hasn't played for 2 weeks. He's coming in.
Right.
And he's playing high-level basketball against the best.
It's the regular season. It's the regular season. He did it against Orlando. A brother from Detroit just dropped 50 on Orlando. So I'm not even counting that ish. I ain't even counting it.
I don't care who's
shot
on that
selection,
team.
I mean, he was just hot.
In the world.
He was just hot.
He could have.
Yo, I don't know. We're gonna have to. The NBA's gonna have to do something about it because even Jason Williams talking.
Hold on.
My fault.
Hold on.
But
listen. We'll get to that.
Listen. NBA. You got some varsity teams in the league right now.
No. Hold on.
And y'all better cut this shit out, bro.
Don't do that.
Orlando's moving like a varsity team right now, man.
Don't try to poo-poo Kyrie 60, okay?
A 60
because he could have had 75. And Bonehead Nash took him out with
Shout out Coach Nash. You ain't no damn bonehead, man. Kid Canada, man. You my guy.
8 minutes and 10 seconds, and he took Kyrie out. He could have had 80.
Kyrie would have been doing that the whole year if it wasn't for the COVID stuff.
I don't know. We're going to go back on the skilled part.
Right.
When there was a part where there was a couple of plays where KD passed him the ball in the corner, and you know how we catch that ball in our pocket?
It at the top.
He got it here.
That's dope.
Bring down.
He didn't bring it down.
And up.
That's dope.
He's skilled.
That's dope.
He don't need to bring it in his pocket. He caught it here and just went straight up.
Yeah. It's Steph love.
Kyrie, salute you, young God. You're a young God at the end of the day, but let's see you do it in the playoffs. If you can play. If you can play, brother.
Can he play in Canada?
Nope.
Can he play in Canada? The mandate, we're done tomorrow.
Oh, yeah,
let's
throw
the mask in the air. We're
see
done
what
tomorrow
happened,
now.
Raptors? You see, you messed up, Raptors, bro.
We're done.
We need that 6th spot, man. I don't want to see Brooklyn, bro.
Okay.
Don't want to see them, man.
I don't want to see Brooklyn either.
I do not want to see them, man. Damn, man.
I want to go ahead and talk about Louisa Harris.
Hold up. We got the rookie watch, man.
Oh, rookie watch? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
You know what I mean? I'm going to have to go. You know what? The league, once again.
I know you want to talk about Scottie Barnes.
Once again, the NBA is not giving my man no love. You know what I mean? My rookie of the year. And I think the whole
Scottie Barnes better come on the show because he's getting all this love from you.
Scottie Barnes is no disrespect to Mobley. I love what you're doing, Mobley, and you got the record to prove it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Allen went down. He's holding down that fort for the front line with Kevin Love. But I still got to go with Scottie Barnes. Rookie watch for the week. Played against the Lakers in LA. Gave him 21-9-5 with the win.
Yep.
then stayed in the crypto. What do they call it? The crypto center now, or the crypto
Staple,
like formerly known as the Staples Center.
Mm-hmm.
Played the Clippers, gave him 15-4. Okay, people are gonna say, "Oh, it's 15-4 for a rookie."
What? Rebounds?
4 rebounds. You know what I mean? It was something light. You know what I mean? But we got the win, and then played Lakers on Friday.
Went crazy.
Gave him 31-17
Career high.
and 4.
Tough.
You know what I mean? In a loss. I love you, Coach Nurse, but he did a few things that really, I'm still not over it.
Scotty Barnes, all he had to do was catch that ball. He let, you know.
You know what I mean? He got fouled.
Saying
he got fouled, but rookie that rookie treatment, you're not gonna get that call. You know what I mean? For some strange reason, Raptors were stripping guys. They're calling foul.
Okay.
Lakers are stripping guys. They're not calling foul.
Rookie watch. I got
Scotty Barnes, you're my rookie of the year. Let's do it.
Is your rookie watch? Who's your rookie watch this week?
I believe Scotty Barnes will win rookie of the year.
I hope so. Let's go, Coach.
But I got a different kind of appreciation for playmakers, and Cade Cunningham, to me, has one of the most well-rounded games
that was your pick
in the
from
league.
the jump.
Well, and just what he's doing across the board. I mean, he's practically averaging close to a triple-double. We want to see him shoot it a little bit better, but it's Detroit too. I mean, he's doing a lot of things for the team.
Yeah,
shout out CJ. Corey's still there, right? Corey Joseph is still there. But what he's doing and he's putting a team on his back from beginning to end. I gotta rate it.
Yeah,
I gotta rate it.
I like that pick. I was talking about this with him. He started out late too. Cause remember, he didn't play in the beginning,
injured, right?
Yeah. And
No
he came out. He came out like when he first game. He came out ready.
That's right.
So I respect that one, Cade Cunningham. I will go with Scotty Barnes though.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Thank you.
He better come on the show.
Yeah, and Scotty has that swag too. He just has that personality.
Man. I just don't want.
He's talking like a Finch.
I want to put this on. He's moving like a Finch man for real. No, but I want to put this on record. I want to put this on record.
We ain't gonna start calling everybody Finch man.
Come on, man. Come on. Finch is Toronto's capital, man.
Hold on. I want Scotty Barnes to focus. I see him doing these little photo shoots and he's into this fashion. No, I need you to move like Pascal. You see how Pascal's hair is nappy? His eyes are bloodshot red? Like he just rolled up out of bed. I want him to move like that.
No, you gotta move
don't
like
be like, don't I don't want him to be like
Scotty, be Scotty. Just do
you gotta let him be a kid.
You seen him
you gotta let him be a kid.
You seen him when he was in his prep school? Yeah. You seen how he used to move?
I don't listen, Gary Trent. I don't want him moving like Gary Trent.
Listen,
the fashion model.
I hear you. I
want that thug.
Scotty,
Pascal.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I think he's playing so well because he can be the little kid that he's growing up real quick, right?
He is. In a huge city.
I think 5 years from now, God willingly, he stays healthy. I think we're gonna get that serious. It's all about winning. But right now, I think part of that freedom and livelihood and the love people are really seeing is because he's so he's yes,
he loves to play the game. He loves to play the game.
Yeah.
Two things. First of all, Raptors, please, can we start winning some home games? Just hit me up, please.
Hey,
need some,
They won when I was there.
All right, they won when I was there.
Maybe you guys got to start going from here on in because you guys are shit in the bed when it comes to playing at home. My apologies for the language. But listen,
we're gonna move on.
Did you not hear what he said about Kobe? Because first of all, LeBron spiked him when they played in LA, threw that ball off his chest and just whipped it at him.
You think that was a dirty play?
I thought it was a clean play, but it was dirty. You didn't have to whip the ball the way you whipped it.
He threw that ball.
Nah, that was momentum, man. You know when you're jumping, you gotta exert that energy somewhere.
That was kind of hard, but my God.
I'm guilty of that too.
You know what? But I think he was watching face because the reporters were asking him after the second game when he had 31-17. Reporters asked him you're playing against LeBron, isn't that like a childhood hero? Blah blah blah. He said, "Nah, I used to watch Kobe. This was like a rival game. If LeBron didn't play dodgeball with him, maybe he would have showed some more love.
LeBron probably.
But you know what? LeBron did shout him out. Said he'd been watching him from grade 7, seeing him as a point guard, a playmaker. So he showed him some love. But Scotty Barnes, our rookie of the year. Let's go.
Scotty's tough. I can't argue with that anymore. Moving on, we're gonna talk about Louisa Harris, an American professional basketball player. Listen, she attended Delta State. She won 3 championships back to back. 3-peat. Right? She won a silver medal in the Olympics and was the first person to score an actual basket for a female side in the Olympics. First basket. So they lost the tip. The other team missed, and she came down and she had a layup.
That's true.
So first basket. for this lady. She's amazing. And she's absolutely the first and only woman to be officially drafted by an NBA team. 1977 draft. She was a 7th round pick, 137 overall. Women's Month, man. We gotta give roses to this type
of emoji roses.
Yeah.
Hold them.
And you mentioned you saw a documentary.
I saw the documentary on NBA TV. It was like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I should be sleeping.
Yeah, you should
and
be.
I'm glued to the TV watching this woman. She was 6'3", getting buckets. Utah Jazz, and she declined it because she felt like it was like, you know, for publicity, and she didn't feel like she would have got, you know, treated properly. So she actually declined even going to play. She was getting buckets. Delta State, three-peat.
You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong, man.
Yes.
Shout out you, Miss Harris.
Yes.
Salute. Hold some roses.
Well, yeah, I had to talk about that, man. Louise Harris, 6'3", amazing. Like
buckets.
Yeah.
A walking bucket. Let's go.
Brittany Griner, man. This one.
Free Brittany.
Free Brittany,
Free
man.
Brit, man. Free Brittany.
I post about her and the DMs go crazy. Like, man, who cares? She knew the rules and this and that. Like, come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Come on.
No. It's way too coincidental with all the stuff that's happening. She been playing out in Russia too.
Right.
You know, there's just way too much stuff there. And even after the fact, like if this was a big name NBA player,
they would have figured it out.
I mean,
long time.
They would have figured it out. If this was LeBron James, they would have figured it. He would have spent not one night.
Right.
Come on, man.
And I think they pushed her hearing till May?
Till May 19th. It got extended. So she's gonna be in there for like months. She's already been in there over a month now. She's been in there over a month. What was it? They said it was some in a vape pen. Like cannabis oil? Come on,
oil.
Man.
Yeah.
Cannabis oil, you have this woman in Russia.
The real orthodox and stuff there, but the whole thing just seems too convenient to me from a government standpoint. Like it's just way too the timing of this and
come on.
Right.
Like it's a lot of stuff going
shout
on.
Shout out Chris Boucher for actually after an NBA win. We won. Yeah. He mentioned like how come the media's he said Free Britney and how come no one's really talking about it.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Shout y'all Chris for that, man.
This has been on my mind 2 weeks ago. Like, you know, I have to talk about this.
Yeah, and she's a multimillionaire, man. This isn't, you know what I'm saying?
This ain't right.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, a lot of people come to me and like, well, Aunt, like, she knows the rules. We're talking about cannabis oil, man. They got this girl in Russia.
Right.
Cannabis oil.
Yeah.
Like, and they're talking about she might be facing 10 years. Wow. How? I'm confused here.
President Biden, man.
Somebody got to step in,
Somebody got to step in, man.
And there needs to be more media coverage. Like, I see, like,
zero coverage, man.
You know, there's one game on TV on Thursday. You know, in the morning, Skip and all those guys, they talking about football. Yeah. Bro, football's done. Let's talk about Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. And I hate to say it too, but you know, she's a non-conforming Black female as well. And this story is as old as time. Like if she was a different nationality, if she looked different, you know, like one cannot make the case. Is this coming down the same way, right? Like, so that's something that we have to acknowledge as well. We know Black women time and time again, right? Double minorities.
This hurts my soul, man.
Free Brittany, man. Free Brittany Griner, man. Hold your head.
People need to talk about this more.
Right.
I'm sorry. We need to talk about this more. We got to get this young girl back home. And honestly, man, they gotta. To me, people gotta reconsider playing out in these places, man.
They got to.
They got to reconsider. Like this is where it upsets me.
Apparently, the dollar is nicer.
No,
but
it's definitely nicer. But this is what it upsets me with the WNBA, where
we
gotta keep our young ladies safe.
Keep them safe.
Give them a good amount where they ain't gotta play all year round, and they gotta go to Russia. If she's making $1 million in Russia, how can we? Like, of course she's gonna go out and get this money, but cannabis oil, and they got this girl in there for over a month.
I feel you.
Yeah, the journey of a pro female player, especially at that level, is so difficult because there's no off season.
No,
you're overseas, and then it's a WNBA season. You're back, and that's why someone like a Diana Taurasi, like her team will pay her to be like take time off, Otherwise, you get hurt. Like I remember talking to Tammy some years ago, and she was saying like it's nonstop. You don't get
Like
the
how do you
privilege.
start a family?
Wow. How do you start a family? Well, there's no rest and recovery.
There's
from
no
a
rest and
periodization
recovery.
standpoint. So it's really tough.
The rest and recovery.
Yeah.
Is huge,
Now you look
right?
at somebody like Kia just said, listen, I'm playing in the W, and I'm gonna do this commentating stuff, and I'm do my work on the side, right?
So I see a lot of people taking that format.
That might be a better route, man.
Yeah.
man.
Or we get something going year round because we do have the fan base. Like women's basketball is on the rise, and we've proven from a marketability standpoint and a making money standpoint that all they need is that media backing and everything else. Like you look at the NILs for college basketball, like the women are far outpacing the guys.
Yeah.
For sure. So there's a huge market there, right? But
Definitely.
it's a chicken and an egg, right? Oh, you guys don't make enough money. No, we don't have the infrastructure to make the money. That's the difference.
Tell them. Message.
Okay, free Brittany Griner, man. Jason Williams, man.
White chocolate, I love you, man. You're my guy.
Can you
I'm
unblock
cheesed that you
us,
blocked
please?
us, though.
Unblock us,
Why are you
please.
blocking us for, man?
Okay, wait,
we just talking basketball talk, man.
Wait, what did you guys do? What did you guys do?
So,
Jay Will's
man.
the truth, man.
Okay, so Jason Williams, white chocolate, he made a comment. He was on somebody's podcast or somebody's show. I don't know what it was. But he said that it was harder to score in the NBA today than it is now in the 90s. So when he said that, all of a sudden, every day somebody was dropping 60. So I was trolling, but come on. I want to have an actual conversation with him, and he just blocked us from Instagram. Unblock us, please.
And listen, man, if you're gonna be petty, just remember this, brother. Just remember this. While you were with the Kings, with C Webb, you could have helped C Webb get that chip. You didn't play an OD. Great offensive weapon. It was up until Sacramento got Mike Bibby to replace you.
Where they made noise.
That's when they start making noise. So you want to be petty? I can be petty too.
And don't be. And
I can be petty too.
And he can't,
block me. Go right ahead and block me.
No, but
go right ahead.
But what bothered me was not even those comments. Is when you said Kobe might not even be an all-time, a top 5.
Kobe
Laker
was
of all
busting
time.
your ass.
What?
He'll bring you on that block.
So
Come
what?
on, man.
So was it?
What are you talking about?
Was he upset because the Sacramento Kings and Kobe was just?
I think there's
killing
always
him?
going to be that bitterness.
Because
But
how
he
could
should
you
be
not
bitter
put
with
Kobe as a top 5 Laker of all time.
It's coming from
How?
Jason Williams.
That
Don't
don't make no
disrespect, Jay. It's coming from you though. It's coming from you.
Mike
Baby replaced you, brother.
But from he said that we had from the comments, it was maybe a week and a half ago. There was 3 50-point games, 2 60-point games, 2 47-point games, and a bunch of 30.
That's a whole lot of defense.
Games. And I made a video and I tagged Jason Williams of the highlights of James Harden playing defense, a star, top 5 player in the NBA. A star playing.
I hope
defense.
he plays that defense
and it was
tonight.
like a blooper reel.
I hope he plays that defense tonight, James Harden.
And I
So
asked Jason Williams. I
Coaches
said,
teach defense.
yes.
Yeah, man.
And my thing is, they remove hand checking.
Right.
You can no longer hand check anymore.
Right.
So they removed it because the rule wanted it to be easier.
For the
Keyword.
the offensive
I
player.
highlighted easier. I capitalized it. Everything.
You did your
for
due
Jason
diligence,
Williams
brother.
to
You
see
did your due
easier
diligence.
for guards to get in the
And you
lane
didn't want
and
to have
score.
you didn't even want to have an open conversation, fam?
He didn't want to have a conversation.
You blocked
And
us?
Listen to me. When he caught Gary Payton with that crossover.
Oh, yeah, that was
there
beautiful.
was hand checking there.
Yep.
He would not have gotten
Gary
away
Payton
with
tried
it.
to trip you too. He tried to trip you after
So-
you caught him with that cross.
You
It's
know,
okay, man.
He blocked us. It's all
Who
good.
cares? I'm gonna
Luka's
be petty.
speaking that real.
I'm gonna be petty.
You know,
Luka's
Mike
speaking
Baby
that
took
real.
your
He's
spot.
speaking the
Yeah,
real.
Luka's in it every day. He's an all-star, and the man said it is way easier to play in the NBA than it
Than
is
playing
to play
overseas.
overseas.
Bottom
For
line.
sure. 3
Shout out
second
Luka.
violation key, spacing.
All that.
Like, I mean, it just...
You know there's hand checking over there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like people don't
Yeah.
understand when hand checking was there. Do you know how hard it was? Like I can funnel guys. Like,
Yeah.
okay, where you going? I'm gonna hand check you,
I
and
can-
I'm gonna
That's a
send
foul
you.
through and
Yeah.
through.
I'm gonna. You can't even pass gas in an NBA game
Yeah.
today.
And if you got a
Without it,
strong,
call
if you
foul.
got a strong shoulder, even being there, like there's a way you can be like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and you can't even it's hard to tell. You can't ask the official to call that.
Bottom line.
So
but
it's
look at all the antics of James Harden holding you and going to the line, shooting
Right.
30 free throws a game. Trey Young
replays.
getting in front of you and then jumping
and then
and
jumping in
back
front
and
of you.
shooting. Those
Yup.
are all fouls. Today, like how I get confused.
Well, maybe to Jason Williams' defense, even though you blocked us, you got to be a little more smarter now. You got to be a little bit more smarter.
So what I was
You know
told,
what I mean?
someone DM'd me. I won't say his name because he got upset. You know, he threatened me. You know, because I tagged him. This is how you got to deal with the trolls now.
Okay, taking notes.
Yeah. So listen. He said it's harder now because it's harder to shoot. 3-pointers are harder than dunks. I said what? Hold.
I disagree.
I said what? I said hold on. First off, it depends who you ask. If you ask me, my old butt, is it easier to dunk or it's gonna easier for me to shoot a 3 right now.
Bottom line.
So what you're saying makes no sense, sir.
No.
I won't expose him. He got mad, you know.
The skill level is higher. That's without a doubt. Like the overall skill level, the ability to pass against pressure, shoot from 50 feet, all of that is easier now. So that part has changed. We need a 4-point line. We need a 4-point line. None of this 3-point line. We need a legit 4-point line. Keep the games interesting.
Yeah, guys are shooting from the logo. I think in the Chinese league, the rules are something like that.
Right.
Where they have a 4-point line and things like that.
What are we waiting for?
And dunks are like worth 3s.
And I think Ice Cube's league, the Big 3, has a 4-point line as well, too. Right? Shout out Ice Cube. I see you, the innovator you are, brother.
Yeah. Shout out Jason Williams. I'm block us, man.
Shout out Jason Will, man. My bad. You were just being petty. I'm being petty.
It's not true.
Mike Bibby did take your spot.
It's not easier to score in the NBA today.
He did.
So stop it. Anyways, take us out, Woods, man.
All right, man. So, man, thank you, Coach, for coming through.
Absolutely.
Is there anything other than the All-Star game, is there anything else you're doing that your team's doing?
Yeah, you
anything
know what?
Coming up?
Just shout out my Canley's family, shout out my BCCA fam, and I think we're in an amazing time right now. The community is opening. We're ready to get back in the gyms. I want to see more girls on the court.
Yes.
We want to see some high-level basketball. We're ready to get back to some really good hoops throughout the country, and I'm just really excited.
Definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely, man. Well, we're super grateful for you coming through and blessing us with the knowledge and the insight. You know what I mean? And you can follow us, man. Subscribe on YouTube. Get us to 1,000 subscribers. We need that right now, man. Hurry up, man. Get us up there, man. Don't block us. Don't be petty. Don't be petty, man. We're here. This is the platform for you. Follow us on IG. Follow us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, man. We're working, man. This is where hip hops meet hoops, man. Follow us, baby. We're working.
Lano, see everybody. Let's go.
I was in the trap OG, serving out white. Think about it day to day and night. Last night I had a drink, and it felt so right.
Blocked us.
Yeah, he blocked us.
Why you
man.
blocking us for?
Yeah.